So we need to stand in these times of faith and proclaim God. We need to rise up and say, hey, God says so. So this is Vertical Stream 101 and this is Pastor Lee Anto Muhammad, and today we are talking to you about a character test. And what is a character test, Pastor Leanto? What do you mean about a character test? And so if you're a leader, this is very important for you, or if you're somebody who are striving to leadership, what is the character test? And do God test person characters? And yes, God tests person characters. And so some of the things that we see in the character test, that what God does, what he did, he tests your character where? He tests the lust of the eye, he tests you with the pride of life, and he tests you with the lust of the flesh. Why God tests you with lust, pride of the life, the lust of the flesh? And so God wants to see what direction you will take. Would you go after the things of the flesh? Would you go after lustful things? God wants to see if he can test you, if he can see if you can say, hey, I don't need these kinds of temptation, or I don't want to go indulge myself. And so God placed these things, he allows Satan to test us in these areas to see how we're going to stay strong. And so if you are standing strong at the time of lustful temptation, God consider you are very strong in this area. And so we learn this temperament, how to be loving, how to be patient, how to be kind, how to be temperate, how to have self-control, how to be faithful and honest and walk upright before God. And so God tests us in this area, that what? We can call for his grace. That this is to show us that, hey, we are weak and we need God to help strengthen us. And so when God brings this situation into our leader life, what God is doing? He's teaching us patience. Call for his grace, because these things, what we need God's grace, we need his. We cannot depend on the flesh. We cannot depend on ourselves. Oh, we are strong. No, we need his grace. We need his power. Don't try to say that you are so strong that this can affect you. You will be in trouble. And so what we do, we need his grace. Don't depend on your strength, but depend on his grace, his mercy. And so these times of testing, what God allows certain things to surface up. So in the time of weakness, certain things would surface up. Hey, if you get a problem in your life, it surface up. Like a pride of life, you're showing too much. I have pride. I'm strong, And so these actions, hey, it isn't supposed to be like this. Hey, this thing is about his grace. God teaching us patience and to depend upon his grace. And so anything that surfaces up in your life, you will see it, and God says, hey, you need my grace. And so God wants the things to surface up, that he can deal with it, he can touch you. Things that are unaware, that is hidden, lie there in many childhood things, childhood days, in your teenager, when you turn adult. Certain things have grabbed into your mind, and so God wanted to surface that he can deal with it, that he can cut it. And so we need his grace. You see, in these times we've seen a lot of things happening. We've seen a lot of wickedness from various sides, left and right. The world is going very chaos. Now if you're living in sin, you can't really talk about it, because what? You are defeated by these actions. You are defeated by these spirits. So you can't talk, or you can't fight, or you can't pray against these things, because you yourself doing it. So what? You need to stop if you do it, or do not, you don't do it at all. So, we need to be strong to fight against these kind of spirits. And so there was a young man called Samuel, and Samuel was one of the greatest prophet ever lived. And so when he grew up, he didn't really have a father or a mom to nurture, because his mom gave him over as a gift to God, to the priest. And so in the midst of problem, in the midst of stress, and the midst of wickedness and evil, this young man, he lived righteous and holy before God. And so if young people, you are struggling and saying, hey, I can't do this thing, or I can't make this thing, we have young people who was very talented, lived holy before God. When Samuel became one of the greatest prophets, and so he lived holy, he lived righteous. And there is so much turmoil in our time now. There's different genders, trying to mix up genders and try to tell me this gender is this, and we can't call a boy, and we can't call a girl. And so there is a lot of misunderstanding at this moment down in our nation, in our time, in our nation, in history. And so Samuel's story is to teach us, hey, leaders, even in a corrupt society, we must live holy. We must don't be as corrupt. We must live honest and generous to God. And this was the character test is to teach about our character. It's all to do with our character. We must stand firm in a nation, in a place, in a time when everybody is doing wrong things. How we must stand holy before God, right? And so this basically character test. And so that's the character test all about. So today I want to be very short, and the next time I'm going to continue. We're going to talk about a motivational talk. So give us a like, give us a thumb up, share with a friend, giving us subscribe to our channel, and we're going to see you in the next series. So thank you. This is the Vertical Stream, and I'm Pastor Leon.